welcome back. I'm a counseling psychologist, Rachna with Ramani. आजकल हर कोई mental health के बारे में बात कर रहा है. So, me being a psychologist, mental health professional में इतने साल काम करने के बाद, I thought why not call somebody on my show who's running a business in mental health, जिसके पास 85 plus counselors है online and you can have a session booked with him. So ये conversation in interview मैंने online किया है, so hopefully you enjoy it. अगर आप नए हो, please don't forget to subscribe so that we can stay connected with you always. And if you have already done that, thank you so much. Welcome Sanjay to my show. So I want to know a lot what is happening about mental health from business perspective, from perspective of clients coming online to take mental health support, and also from the perspective of professionals in the field of how it is happening on Therappo.com. So before we start asking you a lot of questions, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, even though I have given a brief intro about you, but it's good to hear from you.
Sure. Hi, Rachna. Thank you for having me on your show today. And it's good to discuss these things. So let me first start by telling you about myself. So I basically run businesses. I am mainly a fintech guy. My main business is in the fintech and in IT software for financial services and all that kind of thing. That's what our main this thing is. But a few years ago, because of a personal interest, I kind of hit upon this thing of doing online counseling. Allowing people to talk to their counselors and their psychologists online privately, instead of having to go to a hospital or travel to a clinic. So that's how Therappo was born, basically from a personal passion. I saw a need for that. So that's how it all happened. So, yeah.
Awesome that, you started a business where you could give psychologists an opportunity to do business online and see clients online. Of course, we're going to address the benefits of online therapy. However, I would really like to appreciate that you had a personal experience because of which you understood mental health is important and you started this. I know a lot of people think I have gone through a mental health problem. Now they start doing counseling. So that is very dangerous. So I'm very glad you didn't do that and you gave opportunity to the experts to do that. So a little light on why it is important online. Of course, now we know because we are in lockdown, quarantine. So, we are using technology. But you started long ago when we were able to go walk in to a therapist and talk. So you started the business at that time. Why? Why do you think online therapy or counseling is important?
So there are many reasons now. I mean, I'll tell you all that. Some of them are very obvious and all that. But my reason was very simple. When I used to go to my counselor and I went, I'm not one of them who gave up very quickly. I did almost 7-8 sessions. I found it. In the beginning, I did question it like everyone does. Ki, isse kya fayda hoga type of thing. After the first session, people tend to feel that kind of thing, that she is only listening or he is only listening to me. I didn't get anything. People expect a pill, right? So they expect some kind of magic this thing on the first this thing. So anyway, I didn't give up. So I did it for quite some time, okay, over maybe 6 months or something like that. And of course, I understood the benefits for myself. After that, I stopped doing my sessions and everything. But what I experienced was very funny. I used to go for my sessions, okay? I used to do it in a hospital. The hospital had a psychology department and all that kind of thing as a part of their OPD. So I would go there for my counseling. And I saw that in that hospital, all the other OPD, lobbies would be full of people, You know how Indians are, right? They never miss a turn. They can't stand in queue. They don't miss a turn. So they'll always jump at the opportunity. So they're standing and waiting for their turn to come. However, outside the psychology department, nobody was ever seen. Although they were full appointments and everything, people would hide near the coffee machine or they'd pretend to go to the toilet and, just when it's time, they'll come running and all that kind of thing. So I realized from everyone's perspective that privacy is a big issue. They were all scared that if a friend or a neighbor walked in and saw them, and they ask them what happened to you, they won't know how to answer it. They were hiding something. So that's when I started thinking about this. But over time, I realized that it's a great saving in terms of traveling for people like me, for client sites. It's great. We don't have to travel. Many times, busy people like us can't keep an appointment on time. All those kind of things. That goes out of the door with an online thing. Even for the counselors and practitioners, it's very easy because they don't have to always, have a physical clinic, bear that entire infrastructure or anything like that. They can do it from home whenever they are, even at odd times. Sometimes people are free at after say 9 p.m. or something like that. Even a counselor is free after 9 p.m. sometimes. But in the real world, with a physical clinic, she won't have that option of opening her clinic after 9 p.m. So here it becomes much easier. So yeah.
That is one nice. As a professional, I can say that it's easy when I am on Therappo and my calendar is available. They can book an appointment, and of course, we are going to show in detail how you can book an appointment on Therappo and how easy it is. So I saw that it's so easy to book an appointment. I just have to be there, in my house and take a session and then get back to what I'm doing, especially now when I'm working from home and at home. So it becomes easy. And as you said, from a client perspective, because we have a stigma, कि मैं पागल हूँ क्या अगर मैं psychologist से मिलने जा रहा हूँ. As you said, there is nobody outside in the hospital, outside a psychologist's cabin, because they are scared to be judged. So of course that is one benefit. If you're online, किसी को पता ही नहीं है आप online, you're taking help. So privacy, of course, and also it's cost effective because on therapy there are therapists who are having different kinds of charges. So you get an option to do that. Like, if you want to save money, maybe you can see the profile of a psychologist. You're saving time to travel and just sit at home and maybe in your own office, in your own room, and take a session. So apart from that, you got around 85 or more than 85 therapists online. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit from that perspective. And also if you can tell me, how did you get therapists online? Are these all mental health professionals? Like, because हमारे पास license नहीं है in India for a counselor. Okay, for clinical, at least there is an RCI and something in process. Counseling also it's in process, but how every country has a different license for, a therapist. We don't have that in India. So how do you differentiate? Because online hai to bahar se bhi anybody can book an appointment. So how does it work from that perspective?
Okay, I'll explain. I didn't understand your question about bahar se means.
If from different countries where there are different laws for therapy.
Okay.
So like US, Canada, or UK, they have different laws for like they want a licensed therapist to provide guidance. So because you're online, it can be easily accessible to anybody around the world. So how do we differentiate that your therapists are only working in India or only catering Indian clients? How does it work?
So internationally, it works differently. Internationally, what I mean, we do get some international bookings, okay, especially from non-resident Indians, NRIs.
Okay.
So say, for example, in the US and all that, of course, there are very strict compliance laws and rules about who can practice, where they can practice, and all that stuff. Like they're even divided by states and stuff like that. So you can't just be sitting in one state, and you may not be allowed to practice in across borders in another state. So it depends on where you belong. Plus, because it's covered under insurance, the payment and the claim system, all that goes through insurance in the US. So there are different set of rules like HIPAA and all that kind of thing, which applies there. But it doesn't prevent a citizen from taking any advice or counseling session from somebody who's outside the country. There is no, the local laws in that country will not govern these things for a person who's situated outside the country.
Correct.
Yeah, so we obviously don't want to break laws of any country here, but this is not breaking any laws, firstly, that. And the second thing is that the people who come to us internationally, I've seen the clients, I mean, we don't go and ask them or anything like that because we keep their privacy. but it is very obvious that they are doing that because of the comfort that they feel with on cultural grounds. So they may be talking about something which is personal, more family oriented or something, where they may feel that, talking to their own psychologist or counselor in the US may have some, cultural hurdles to cross. Whereas talking to an the Indian person, professional with who understands the cultural backgrounds, who can speak the same language, may be easier. So yes, we do get some bookings from international people, clients, but they're all Indians basically.
Right. Great. So that is nice. That it has a reach where people can, reach from various countries and have access online very easily. So all the psychologists and therapists at least have an MA, master's degree or
Yes,
PhD or MPhil.
yes, strictly.
तो 6 महीने में, like I know when I started my center, it was a very interesting story because we went for an exhibition and there was this center which said 6 months counseling course and you can start your clinic. So not necessary what background you come from, but 6 महीने में आप counselor बन जाओगे. And me and 2 other psychologists, we had recently passed out, and I think we started our center just to tell people that listen, 6 महीने में आप counselor नहीं बनोगे, because even after doing masters and even doing internships, you still hesitate to take a client because you're dealing with intense emotions, a personal tragedy, crisis. Like there are so many ethics to follow, which I think come with experience. Because 10 years of my practice, I think I started taking individual clients only after I left my job at TIS, because I think that prepared me well enough to have one-on-one sessions with people. So,
Right.
Anything you would want to tell a therapist in particular?
So firstly, we do, our onboarding is manual process. So people cannot just come and register and start practicing on our platform. And we look for many of these. We have a certain set of criteria which we look for, and one of them is at least 1 or 2 years of experience that we look for, where they have already worked for some time before they start practicing, on our platform. So that is how we check. We do get a lot of interest from freshers. We get a lot of interest from people who just want to do internship and all that, but if they want to do that, we don't allow them to do counseling with clients. They can help out in other things. We do programs, we do a lot of, administrative stuff and all that kind of thing, which happens. So it's good for people to learn and understand how a real life operation works, but no counseling for people who don't, have some experience. So
okay. So once you're registered,
and we register.
Once you're registered, the entire verification process happens and you are on board. We'll show you step by step how you can use the portal and how effortlessly you can book an appointment with your client, see your client history and the money that you're making.
So as a therapist, the process is very direct and simple also. The counselor just comes to Therappo.com also, and you land up on the home page, and from the home page you simply log in, and you choose, instead of user login, you choose therapist login. And again, you've been onboarded, so you have your details. You log in with your counselor login details and your password, which you have already reset before, and that's it. Therapists cannot register online. They have to do it offline with us. They have to send an email to info@therappo.com, and there is a manual process where we do verification, application forms, and all that stuff. Anyway, so you choose this therapist login, and then you log in like that. And once you log in, you land up on your dashboard page. As a counselor, you have an upcoming booking appointment, so it's at this time. You're able to see it. You can see the customer's name. You can see a little bit details about him by clicking here. You can click here to start the session if you want right now. On the right side, you get your calendar details if there are any things that you have. So this just shows, this calendar is showing that you're unavailable during the whole month. That means you are completely booked up. Now this is a test login. this is a test ID, this is a test counselor. So we have booked up all these things, but normally you'll see which are the days when you're free. You can open this completely to view it fully. You can edit it. You can do all that. You can manage your appointments from here. Again, as a test ID, no billing details are shown here. Otherwise, you'd see how much billing you've done in the last 3 months. That shows you. Last 12 months, it shows you here. And a little bit of analytics on how your sessions are doing, how your billings are doing, how do you have enough clients, are your fees too high or less compared to the other counselors. So we give you all these kind of details over here. If these are some extra links, like in case you need to reschedule a booking, you can do it yourself. Patient ratings, whatever your clients rate you, that appears here. Your history of bookings before, they all come here at the bottom. So that's all, very direct. You have a link to your profile page. Again, like I said, it's a test ID, so it doesn't have much details, but you can actually write content in all these places. You can change your fees, whatever your charges are, you can change that, and all that thing can be done from here. If you've already done live bookings for every year, you are able to see those. For the last 3 years, you will be able to see your booking details with full details, month by month, with each booking ID, what is due to you, how much you've already earned, all that kind of thing here. History of your clients that you've seen in the past, that comes there. This shows how many sessions you've done with them, all those kind of things. Beyond this, like I was telling you, this is the calendar page, so you can edit your calendar, you can view your calendar. So this shows how many sessions, on 7th of June, how many sessions you've already made yourself available for. Blue indicates that you've made these sessions available. These gray ones means you are not available. You may have a personal, engagement, or you're busy with something else. So this is something that you have to predict in the future and set your calendar. And you can set it like this over here. So there are a lot of ways to set it. You can say I'm not available between this time and this time. So you click it off. It just becomes unavailable. Anything that you don't want to be available, on Tuesday at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. I don't want to be available. So you click here, it will become unavailable. So that's the way you can set these things. Don't forget to go ahead and save it. So once you save it, it just updates your calendar. That's it. So these are a very simple way of doing things. And there's a page for blogs also, where you can go and write your blogs as a therapist. It all appears with your own credentials and everything and all that kind of thing. So that's basically it. Fairly simple. Again, it's a very direct process. It's more focused to counseling rather than the actual counseling session than anything else. So keep that in mind and use it to the best of your advantage. Thank you.
Now let's talk about a client. Okay. Do you want to briefly talk about how many clients have come to Therappo? How old is Therappo? How many people have you been able to reach? And what is the feedback that you get from the clients?
So being online, we get a lot of sessions. I don't really have the numbers right now with me, but on a month-on-month basis, there's quite a few sessions that run on the platform. But being online, one thing I see is that a lot of people do sessions maybe once or twice, which I think in real life also it may be the same, but in real life people tend to probably do more sessions because they have crossed that whole fear boundary of meeting the counselor for the first time. They've gone through that. They've taken their physical bodies into make an appointment and then traveling and sitting and all that kind of thing.
Correct.
But because online is easier, I see a lot of people come for sessions and they do 2 sessions. They're very happy. They give positive feedback, but they feel that they've got it. And, they go back, and sometimes they come back after many months or maybe after a year or something like that with a completely different question. So this is something. So we try to tell people that, if have you really found your solution? Do you want to sustain it for some more time? Because I know personally that when you sustain it for some more time, as a client, you start learning things and understanding things much better. I mean, you help yourself better when you don't form opinions in the first 2 sessions, but form your opinion for the 4th or 5th session, because your opinions completely change. The opinion about the problem that you were looking at completely changes after when the number of sessions are a little more.
Yeah.
So it's like maturity with everything, I think, so
I think this
that
will
is one thing.
change. Yeah, sorry. This will also change now, because in lockdown, I am also seeing the online sessions, increasing, where people want to interact,
Yes.
because now you have no
Mm.
other option. But I think
Yeah.
they miss coming to the clinic, I'm sure. But at least it's helping. I'm sure that's going to change and increase more, where I think therapists
Correct. Correct.
are very busy.
So recently, we also launched with Kerala government. We launched an initiative called Pratyasa.
Okay.
Okay, so it's currently right now. Right now, it's in a few constituencies. It's meant for Keralian citizens to take counseling. And the government is kind of helping them. And that initiative also drew a lot of people, and the publicity that Kerala did for this brought in a lot of other even people from other regions of the country to take. And we can see that there is of course a need. I mean, the need is always there. There was no doubt that there is a need. People have been supporting it, and it's convenient to do it. You can do it from your phone, from your laptop, anything that you want. So, and another thing is that you can conceal your privacy. A lot of people don't want to give too much personal details, and we don't ask for personal details. We
Yes.
allow people to book with their with a fake email ID if they want to, because it doesn't matter to us. We are not marketing anything with their personal data, so we don't mind. They come and register, and then they need to talk, and then it's between the counselor and the client after that.
So no recording as such happens of the session. It's completely confidential.
Completely confidential. There is a feedback mechanism that they have, which where we don't collect any contents of what they discussed. It's just service quality feedback, which they give. We also share that with counselors. Both people can give it. Basically about technical quality. Was there any dropouts? Did you feel that that your counselor understood your problem? Those kind of basic things. And normally those are very positive. They anyway rate everybody.
Correct.
At the
Yes.
end of sessions.
I'm aware of that. I've also been rated on Therappo. So if you are a client and you want to know how you do the booking step by step, I'm going to show you that now, and you can maybe go to the site and do it yourself and see how easy it is. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Therappo and ask them where you're getting stuck, or you have any kind of queries about privacy, confidentiality. Please feel free. I guess this is what even Sanja would say. Please feel free to reach out to Therappo, because whatever is happening around us, pandemic, all the news, and a lot of things happening. People are constantly disturbed. I wake up in the morning with a lot of text messages. I sleep and there are text messages where people are going through a lot of emotional challenges. So I think you can speak up and take professional help rather than speaking to a friend or a family. Of course, that helps, no doubt.
Correct.
But speak to somebody who's trained to help you in this situation, I would say.
Right. Hi, so this is Therappo.com. So you come here by typing Therappo.com on your computer. And, this is the homepage. You come and see these things. There are some banners that appear. Essentially, you can do counseling from the privacy of your home with totally verified and qualified counselors from anywhere, anytime. You get to see some of our counselors on the homepage itself. And then, of course, there is search and you can choose them. There is search by, you can go to therapists here and search the therapists. Otherwise, essentially, there's an explanation of the process also on the homepage. And you can also send us some questions if you have before you take any sessions. These are not really psychology or counseling questions. We are not authorized to give you answers, solutions to your problems, unless you talk to a counselor, but you can ask any question that you want sometimes. Then you go ahead and log in. There are 3 types of login, of course. So as a user, as a client, as a therapist, and a clinic. So we'll go with the user login now. So once you've registered, you can register here by clicking on login. You click on register and you can register. Otherwise, you just click here and log in with your details that you have already registered before, and you log in. Once you log in, I'll skip this for now. Once you log in, you come to your dashboard, what we call your dashboard. If you have any upcoming appointments, you'll see that here. And then, there is a video which explains about Therappo. There are some contents and all that kind of thing on the site. And that's it. Then you can go and change your password and all those details if you want from here. This is an intake form. So, this is just for you to explain if you're suffering from something. So just give a little background of yourself, nothing very personal. You don't really have to describe your problem, but just a background so the counselor knows a little about you before the session. Otherwise, the counselor will ask you all these questions during the session, and that eats into your time. So it's better to save your time like this. So you fill up some of these details and save it. You can change it from time to time. You can also message us if you need anything from here. And that's it. So that's as simple as this, as it is. The site is kept very direct and simple, meant for therapy. It's not full of any other kind of literature or anything like that.
If you have any questions, you can reach out to Therappo and ask them where you're getting stuck, or you have any kind of queries about privacy, confidentiality. Please feel free. I guess this is what even Sanja would say. Please feel free to reach out to Therappo, because whatever is happening around us, pandemic, all the news, and a lot of things happening. People are constantly disturbed. I wake up in the morning with a lot of text messages. I sleep and there are text messages where people are going through a lot of emotional challenges. So I think you can speak up and take professional help rather than speaking to a friend or a family. Of course, that helps, no doubt.
Correct.
But speak to somebody who's trained to help you in this situation, I would say.
Right. So for asking questions, they can either write to info@therappo.com, Therappo with double P, or even on the homepage of Therappo, there is a place for, it's called Ask Freely. So where they can ask questions, general questions to Therappo about, so we get a lot of those kind of questions where people who are new to counseling, or, they want to know that, should I do counseling for this? Do you think counseling will help us? All those kind of things. And we help them by just directing them to the right places.
So they can ask general free questions also. The link is in the description where you can click and go to Therappo and see how, you can register if you're a therapist. Email them your profile and you'll know how to use the portal. And if you are a client and you want to book an appointment with a therapist, then also there is a link and details provided in the description box. If you're new over here, please don't forget to subscribe and bell button so that you know what we are doing and what is happening in the mental health field. Any last words you would want to say, Sanjay, before I ask for the last question?
Before I say any last words, I think I just want to say thank you very much for doing this, Rachna, because this, people like you, apart from just doing your counseling work, to reach out and educate people of all types, where people in your segment, other fellow counselors, as well as people who need, is a big requirement right now. So the fact that you're doing all these things is great. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So how's the lockdown and quarantine time treating you?
Well, personally speaking, I quite like it. I've started liking it. It's not bad. Yes, I think we are more busy now with this lockdown, because we're not all of us are not so used to working from a home environment. We are used to working in the peace and quiet of our offices. So that is a little bit of a challenge. It used to be, but I think everyone has got adjusted to it. And nice. It's very nice. Work is happening. People are getting used to it. All that is fine. Productivity is there. So no complaints.
Awesome. And what do you do for your mental health? You have access to more than 85 therapists with you because of Therappo. So how are
Right.
you taking care of your mental health? Are you talking to one
Uh,
once a while, like having a conversation?
not now. But yes, when I find that there are when I reach a point where I think, well, I think I should say this, that I have understood this whole thing, and I respect mental health and what professionals do, firstly. So because of that, when the need arises for me, I don't hesitate, firstly. And there have been things that they have given me in the past, and because of that, I know how to conduct myself for small things. So like little problems, I think the resilience has already got built. So that is the otherwise, other than that, also I maintain a normal balanced lifestyle with enough physical exercise, and I do my own mental meditations and stuff like that to keep myself fresh and calm. But yeah, when I encounter deep issues, I do consider going to a professional, and I do that. But right now I'm not. But whenever I do that, it's something
Whenever
that I do.
the need is.
In-
Whenever the need is. Or
Whenever the need is, and I mean, I tell my friends, my own personal friends, they all know that I run Therappo. Okay. But many of my friends themselves are extremely hesitant to come on the platform and book a counselor, because of their own stigma. And with that, I mean, now with this COVID, there are people who are, their next door neighbor has got it and, has got infected. So because of that, there's a whole big fear and all that. And I tell them that, don't, because their negativity starts coming out too much, and beyond the point, they cannot handle it. So you come and talk to a counselor. So people hesitate, but yeah, it should be done. So it's something that I will not hesitate, and I do not.
Awesome. So you don't hesitate, nor do I. I also take therapy as and when required. So does Sanjay, even though he has a business running on mental health, and knowing how mental health is important and done it before, even now, if it is required, it's okay to go to a mental health
Yes.
professional. ऐसा नहीं है एक बार बात कर लिया तो sorted हो गया आपका life. It can be at different stages of life that you feel that there is a need of a problem, emotional challenge, or even sometimes just to talk to somebody who's not emotionally connected with you gives you a better perspective.
Correct.
So on
Right.
that note, I close our interview. Thank you so much for watching. Stay connected.